Welcome back to My Trick Media. Today we're going to do a draft. If you
Couple drafts.
If you've been with us a while back, we did a draft of Force users, and then we went head to head against each other and see who we thought was the winner. Well, today we're going to do non-Force users to start out with, and we're going to see who's the winner.
Can I have the first pick? I'll give you the second pick for the next one.
I get the second pick in the next draft?
No, in the second one, you get the first pick. I don't know what I said.
I kind of don't want the first pick in the next draft, actually.
Okay. I want the first pick this one, so you get the next one.
All right.
Let's
Fine.
coin flip it. Ready? Call it. You didn't call it.
All right, that's fine. I'll let you go first. That's
We'll
fine.
just rock. We'll just.
No, that's fine.
We'll
I'll let
just
you go.
Spaceship lightsaber.
I'll let you go. It's fine.
Missed.
You're good. So, anyways, we're going to draft.
Because I think there's a character who, strategically is like the best character, and that's why I wanted to go first. And we're doing a snake draft, so one pick, two pick, two pick, two pick, two pick, but there's only 10, and this is a predetermined set of 10. We want to go over characters?
Nah, they'll see all of them eventually.
Okay. All right. So I think
For
there's
the
a
first
bona
pick,
fide number one
The
pick.
first pick in the 2025 non-Force users draft.
What is the noise?
I don't know.
I'm going Hunter. I think that's the bona fide number one pick. And the reason is because he's just got everything. I don't know if that was your number one pick.
Actually, what? I don't think so.
Okay, so I mean, it works out for you anyways. But Hunter, I mean, he basically has the Force intuition. Great gunner, gets in and out of slippery places. He's a cool looking character. To me, Hunter was like the first pick because then I could start picking other categories.
Yeah. I think I got to go back to back. At the time, number 1 and number 2 best bounty hunter. I'm gonna draft Cad Bane, and I'm gonna draft Jango Fett.
Okay. It's not bad, not bad. All right. Those are good picks. Cuz like you get a sharpshooter instantly. And then on top of that you also get someone who has like just gear.
Mm-hmm.
So, not bad, not bad. All right. So I got to defend that. And honestly, these were my next two picks that perfectly defend it. I'm taking Crosshairs,
Fucking knew it.
and I'm taking Boba Fett.
Okay.
I think those are, yeah. I had those on a back-to-back, and honestly, like, I thought you were going to take Boba Fett kind of early, so I was going to just counter it with Jango. So,
I wanted Crosshairs next.
yeah, I couldn't let you have both sharpshooters.
I didn't want. I wasn't gonna pick Boba Fett this early, to be honest.
I need his gear.
Yeah.
So,
I don't blame you there.
I need his gear.
For my next pick, I'm gonna go Rex.
Okay.
I'm picking Rex because he's very tactical. Because I don't know if I'm gonna get the guy with my last pick, and then I need somebody close combat that's really good. I'm gonna go Embo.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Embo.
Okay.
I think that's a good pick for close combat. I think Din could be a good for close combat, but I'm not 100% sure. I think he's better than Embo, so I'm gonna pick Embo.
Okay. Yeah, those were back-to-back good picks. I actually like Rex was on here, and I actually had him kind of low, and it's not because of anything other than his gear.
I got
He just has shitty gear comparatively.
That's true.
Like, and so that's why my next pick's Din,
Okay.
because he's basically unshootable. Besides I mean, sharpshooting wise, like 2 characters are gonna have him, and I have one of them.
Yeah.
So I went Din, and then to round that out, and basically we're down to 2 picks. I get to choose between the 2, and I'm kind of torn
Right.
because I'm picking between Thrawn and Han Solo.
Yep. See, this is why I went with Rex, because if I don't get Thrawn, I'm okay with getting Han Solo after getting Rex, because no matter you talk
I'm
about,
glad Han was the last pick.
well, you talk about Rex having no gear. Rex is amazing with his no gear. If he gets to use anybody else's gear, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be on the same level as everybody else, and he's also very like tactical, like Thrawn. So I was like, all right, if I can't get Thrawn late in this draft, I'll be okay because I have Captain Rex. You know what I mean? Because he can round everybody out. He can make this team a team. And he's like great combat-wise. So I was like, okay, like I got a double threat right here. And that's why I went with Rex as early as I did.
And that's why I'm going with Thrawn.
Right. I figured.
Yeah.
See, that's exactly why I picked Rex, because I knew Thrawn was going to get off the table.
So we had these lists. We had these 10 done. I preemptively stuck with my list.
Okay.
So this is the order I had from best to worst. I had Hunter, Cad Bane, Crosshair, Boba Fett, Din, Rex, Embo, Thrawn, Jango, Han. The reason Jango's so low is just because him or Boba was a pick. Right. And then the other one was like, you don't need both of them. So, but yeah, so I had, so I'm trying to think of who you have. So the Hunter matchup for you, because Bane and Crosshairs are going to be like the matchup with those two. Hunter's matchup is Hunter's fucking someone up. That's what's happening. Obviously I feel like Thrawn and Han are gonna duke it out. They're just thrown down there.
Those are the two people that have to duke it out.
So that's the thing. Din has to duke it with Rex or Embo. And the thing is like with Embo, he has the Darksaber, and he's also just made out of Beskar. Like, I feel like I have a shot.
You said that wrong. You mean Din has the Darksaber? You said Embo.
Well, I said Din against Embo.
Oh, okay, I got you.
And I said he has. I was still talking about Din, but I got you. I don't know, man, because obviously Boba and Jango are going to duke it.
Right, I mean...
Technically Jango... It depends how far away they are, because Boba has a better long-range weapon.
Right.
So, like...
Listen, I think
we kind of drafted. Like, honestly, it went character, my two characters, your two characters, and we kind of laid down my list. I'm like, he's just taking every other guy I had. So
yeah, I think this is a lot closer of a fight than a lot of people would give credit to. Because think about like Han Solo versus Thrawn. Like, sure, Thrawn's better tactical, but Solo's a better fighter or flyer, and I would say he's probably better in combat than Thrawn. Thrawn's one of those people that's like, I'm sitting in my chair.
Don't see him in combat.
Well, right.
Really.
That's why
Which is scary, kind of.
I would take Han Solo in that fight as winning, but I will get.
It depends on Han's arrogance.
But I'll give them both their like, what they're good at and what they're known for, and be like, all right, like that's kind of like a tie in my opinion.
Yeah.
And then I would have Embo. Well, first of all, Jango and fucking Boba are going after each other. That's just...
And honestly, that one's a coin flip.
I think that is the determining factor of this fight.
See, I don't think that.
I think so.
Because that. So who are you having go up against Hunter? I think Hunter's fucking up so many people. Because you basically, you're down to...
Well, there you go. So we've already seen the matchup. Hunter versus Cad Bane. And Hunter gets...
He's lucky. Double teaming Cad Bane.
He's lucky. Listen, Hunter's lucky he got out of there alive against Cad Bane with what we saw. So it's like, okay, even if that's the case, you double team him. I mean, Hunter didn't really stand a chance at all against Cad Bane. So who else are you going to throw at Cad Bane? And who are you going to leave open?
Crosshairs is duking.
Okay, who are you going to leave open then? Because somebody on my team's open if you're double teaming one player.
Well, okay, so here's how I would play this without however you're going to do it. Thrawn is in the back giving orders. That's how I'm playing this. We're playing this in like a line. Thrawn's in the back giving orders tactically. Next to him, I have Crosshairs trying to take shots at people. Just because the long range is just a lot. And then I would have Hunter and Boba Fett rushing on the outsides, and I would kind of have Din in the middle as like a just come at me, just start shooting at the motherfucker. So like, I would never take like a one-on-one on anybody. I'm trying to pick a character off.
Right.
Now, the smart thing for you to do would probably be to have.
I got Rex and Embo in the front lines, teaming up. Embo can kind of protect Rex a little bit more than what Rex can protect himself. Both of them are going to get off really good shots at people. I got Django rushing Thrawn and Crosshair. Same with Bane. I think Bane's got to be up there with them, with Django. Bane and Django are just going after your two, like your sniper and your big tactical guy, because I feel like once those two are taken down, I think it's a lot.
If Django is flying at Crosshair, he's bolting him.
Yeah, but then he's got to worry about Cad Bane too.
It depends on where we're fighting, because that's the thing. I have
where we're fighting, how
much
coverage there is. I got an amazing pilot flying around shooting at everybody.
Are we counting pilots as like a real pilot thing? Because two characters share a ship and they have fucking those grenades.
You know what's crazy about these drafts we do? I feel like there's always an argument. We always end up being like, oh, that's a tie.
Because like, I mean, I feel like we both strategically draft, but like, I feel like there's like things that like would consider like, okay, does Thrawn have a Star Destroyer? Does that count? Like, and that's the same thing with Rex. Does Rex get a Star Destroyer?
Imagine if it was a Star Destroyer like how it was in Ahsoka when they were just blasting bullets at the ground, or like the beams at the ground while they were like going at the building and shit.
That's what I'm saying, man.
I don't know. I think at the end of this, like we said, in the last one, we basically like tied. I mean, like, what are we supposed to do?
Fuck. The thing is like, I think we both have two weak links. We have Din and Thrawn, and then
Rex and
Solo. I think my two weak links have an edge just because Din has his armor. That's the only thing I have. And then I have long range. That's it. So it depends on where we fight. If we're fighting close quarters, I think you might nudge me. It would come down to the Boba fight.
I think, like you said, so close quarters versus not. I think if I can get close enough to you, then I win. But with the guys that I have, I feel like I can get close enough to you.
And that's the thing, is Crosshair just immediately sniping Han in the face. He's not going to know. He's just dying. That's the thing that sucks. Is like I feel like Cad and Crosshair really determine a lot of shit. And Crosshair just has range.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad you didn't. I thought that was going to be your first two picks were Cad and Crosshair.
If I had picked Cad and Crosshairs, I think it would have been like bona fide. Like there's not a question.
Yeah, like when I picked Hunter just because I feel like he gives you a surround.
You kind of threw me off when you picked Hunter. Not gonna lie. I think the way I went with this draft is it kind of like I think it evened it out more than anything. But with Crosshair, I do think like with guys like Django and Cad Bane, I can get to your guys. Like especially
on the for the sands of Tatooine, I'm fucking you
especially up. With like how the Bad Batch went with how like Crosshair kind of
are we taking mental into this?
Well, that's
Embo's a pussy if we're taking mental into this.
Well, so's yeah. I mean, so's Han.
Yeah, Han's kind of a pussy. Han's arrogance. He'd be like, "All right, don't get above the cover, man. They're gonna shoot you in the head. What? This cover? Clunk." I think setting is everything.
Yeah.
I think because Coruscant, I think you might have.
Oh yeah, I can get some
but like
guys.
Tatooine, I got you.
So like open versus not open.
Yeah, kind of. The how far the battlefield is.
Well, I also think so. Like if it is like Coruscant or somewhere where there's a lot of coverage, Rex is going to do a hell of a lot better if there's a lot of coverage. I think Embo, since he's got
That's the thing. I think you have two characters that are wide open, just fucked.
well, that's why I said I would have.
If not three.
That's why I would have Embo with Rex on the front line because Embo can protect Rex with his hat that he has.
I ain't covering a full body. That's what I'm saying. I feel setting is everything. Close quarters, I think you're beating me, and then I think distance, I'm winning. And then if we're including ships, like there's a whole nother conversation.
I think I think I have the guys to be able to reach your guys. It's just how much room does Crosshairs have?
Because dude, that's the thing with Crosshairs. Even though it's a long range, he's still quick scoping people.
Right.
Like.
But I think people like Django and people like Cad Bane that have like jetpacks and or whatever the hell you want to call Cad Bane's like heel.
He's got like foot.
Yeah. I feel like they're agile enough to get there.
That's what I'm saying though. But that's why I'm rushing 3. If you're rushing 2, I'm rushing 3.
Yeah.
I gotta keep Thrawn. Honestly, Thrawn and Han are kind of just fucked.
Yeah.
They're just there. They're there for.
Well, I think part of it is like if you have Crosshairs protecting Thrawn to point everything out.
Well, he's protecting him in the sense that he's just back there with him. If it comes down to it, Crosshairs just get the fuck out of there.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like Thrawn's almost a liability for Crosshair at that point.
Oh, he's not protecting him. He's just back there
body.
with him. He's just kind of like, Thrawn's gonna be the guy that's like, take that guy out, and he's like, yes.
I don't know.
I think between our two liabilities, yours is a bigger liability. Well, it depends on ships. Ships depend.
If he's flying, no, I don't think he is at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
If
we're in
if
ships-
anything, Rex is the worst one at that point, which is crazy to me because I did tell you, if Rex is able to use anybody else's gear, I think Rex is leveling up like a motherfucker.
Well, I feel that way. Like if you give Thrawn some shit too.
I don't think so.
If Han gets a ship, Thrawn gets a ship.
I don't think Thrawn is going to be able to fly a ship like Han. I don't think Thrawn's going to be able to be... If there's combat whatsoever, I don't think Thrawn's going to be able to handle himself. I don't think we have an example of that. And just with that being said, I
don't know if that like what's the word I'm looking for? Like not neglects, like negates it.
Yeah. I don't know. I just don't see him winning in a fist fight if it came down to it.
I feel like he would just tire you the fuck out. Him and Han are fighting. Han's just throwing haymakers and he's just slipping them.
I don't know.
I also keep forgetting Hunter's just sneaking the fuck around trying to assassinate motherfuckers.
I feel that way with Rex.
I think my team's smarter.
Well, when you have Thrawn on the team, that just takes up the IQ like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
But I think Django, Bane, Rex all have like crazy IQs. I have no idea what I think Embo's IQ is at all. Solo's is a little low, just because he's arrogant.
Solo and Din are dumb.
It's not that Solo's is low. It's that he's so arrogant, and that counterbalances the two of them. It's kind of like when you go back to Anakin versus Obi-Wan. Anakin's arrogance is like throwing off how good he actually is. You know what I mean?
Actually, I'm going to switch how I'm fighting. I'm actually going to put Crosshair like out wide, kind of sneaking around, trying to find places to take shots.
Oh, I think that's bad. I think if he's sneaking around, I think that hurts you more. I think he needs to find his spot.
Oh, that's what I'm saying.
And stay there.
I want the fight to start and you guys not know where Crosshairs is. Well, and I'm going to keep Hunter with Thrawn. And then I'm going to rush Din and Boba. Because I got a height guy who's got flamethrower and shit. He can back some people up. And then Din's just got some weapons on him. Dude, he has like the birds on him too. I don't know.
So does Bane. Bane has them too, doesn't he?
So that just negates that. So.
I'm pretty sure Bane has it.
That's the thing.
But also Bane can just fly away from it if he had to.
Boba? Jango or Din has a jetpack too. This is wild. I every time I keep thinking about it, it comes down to distance.
Yeah.
It's
just the scenery. It really is. Like, I think if we're in like a very congested area, I think I'm gonna win. I really do.
I just think Hunter just knows though.
but still, I still think I have better guys. Like we saw Cad Bane beat Hunter.
I think your wild card's Embo. And if
Wild card, yeah, Embo is a wild card. We kind of don't have very much from him. I think if he truly is,
he knows how to escape.
If he
but I don't know if that does anything for the team.
if he truly is going to be the bad guy in the Mandalorian movie, I don't know if that's 100% real or not. But if that is the case, I think we're going to actually see Embo towards like his height.
He's
is how
old though.
I think he'll be all
It's
right.
like Cad started slipping a little.
Yeah,
bit.
but Cad Bane's species doesn't live very long. I don't really know that much about Embo's species. Who knows? Maybe
he might not even be a species. He might just be him.
Well, maybe he's just super young comparatively speaking to what his species is. Maybe he's at his height in his species. And
Maybe.
I mean, Cad Bane, when he was in the Book of Boba Fett, was like living way past what he was supposed to live. I think it comes down to scenery. If it's close quarters, I think I got you. If it's distance and there's more open area, you might have me there.
Even in close quarters, though, like I still feel like I'm playing it smart. Like I'm not wandering in close quarters.
Yeah, I think so too. I'm not
It's
saying,
like Thrawn might be like, and just open something. I'm
I'm
like,
not
where
s-
the fuck did you find that? He's like, studied it.
I don't think these are going to be like easy fights. I mean, we
Oh,
have some
no.
great players out here, but
I can't believe we drafted like that.
of course we did. All right, so
On to number 2.
well, you guys let us know what you think about the draft. So I had Django, Cad Bane, Captain Rex, Embo, and Han Solo.
and I had Hunter, Crosshairs, Boba Fett, Din, and Thrawn.
All right, guys.
All right.
So now we're going to move on.
Excuse me.
We're going to do a draft of movies and TV shows. And obviously this isn't real because we're just doing it for fun, but we're going to draft in a sense that the movies or shows we don't draft are movies and shows we can never watch again. That's how we're doing this draft. So, are we doing this one as a snake draft or back and forth to make it a little?
I think I misunderstood you. I thought you meant they were like erased from the other person's like memory.
I mean, same idea. Okay, I get what you're saying. Like erase from the
Like, not-
memory.
yeah, so,
and
like-
or like just never watching them again.
Yeah, so like
Do you want to do erase from
like
memory?
so for you, like if let's say you pick
I got
Revenge
you.
of the Sith, I just wouldn't know what that is.
It's kind of fucked.
Yeah, it makes it more fucked. So you got to strategically do.
Are
it.
we doing this one as a snake draft, or are we just gonna
Yeah.
go through on this one?
I kind of wanted to do a snake draft. 'Cause I feel like there's a one of one pick, and so the next person should be able to defend it. But I mean, we can rock paper scissors for the first pick.
You got the first pick on the last one.
So you want the first pick?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
The snake part of it's what's getting me.
Yeah, I know.
If
That-
it wasn't
but
a snake
that's what
draft-
makes it fair. If the first pick gets the third pick, with fuck,
Right.
you're getting. There's like I think there's like 4 like main picks, but if you get 2 of them, the person who gets a pick between the 2 is getting the better pick.
I just don't know what your 2 and 3 is gonna be. All right, I'm gonna just go first.
All right.
I guess I'm gonna pick Revenge of the Sith as my number 1 overall pick.
Already threw my list off. Okay. All right. Fuck. All right. So that puts me in a predicament because I know one of your next picks for sure. It's where you go with the other one. So okay, my first pick's gonna be Clone Wars.
Yeah, I think those are the first 2 picks, right? Am I
Yeah.
right? Yeah, those were going to be number 1 and number 2 no matter what order we did it. I kind of contemplated on picking the Clone Wars, to be honest. So we are doing this like it's erased from our memories, right?
Yeah.
That's actually kind of cool. Though.
Or erase from the story. So like your Star Wars story, you would just lump everything back, and if it doesn't fit, it gets taken out, and then you build a new story.
Okay.
So I got Clone Wars, and then I'm gonna take Empire.
Okay. All right. Empire Strikes Back.
So I know one you're taking. You got to take the other animated TV show.
Yeah.
So
Do I want it as my second overall pick or my
well,
third?
you get a
I guess
double
it doesn't
pick.
matter.
Yeah, you
but-
should get the double pick.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Rebels.
Okay.
If you guys don't know, like, if you guys
I
don't
just want
know,
to say those were the first 4 on my board, and they're all.
I think there's 5. I think there's a 5th one.
I mean, we'll see.
I think there's a 5th one.
You get to pick. So what's the 5th one?
Return of the Jedi.
Fuck. God damn it! That was my first. That was my first 5.
I think there was a 5 for us. And if you guys don't know by now how much we love the Clone Wars, how much we love Rebels, like, if you guys haven't seen those shows, like, it's getting to a point where it's like, come on, guys, like, you guys need to watch these shows. There's some of the best pieces of Star Wars we're gonna get. Sure, the animation looks a little weird, especially going to the Rebels animation for the first time. The Rebels animation's kind of like, okay, like, I get it. Watching the first couple episodes of Rebels,
It's
is
very
like,
clay based.
but dude, the story, it's the story. That's all that matters, is how good the story is. I don't care what it looks like, as long as it's a good story. That's all I care about.
So for my, because we're only doing 5, right?
Yeah, we're only doing 5.
All right. So my next pick, I'm going the Phantom Menace. And those were in order. Like, we've picked in order my top 6.
Mm-hmm.
My other one, and this is because I might get some future out of it. I'm taking Ahsoka.
I knew you were gonna take Ahsoka. I didn't know if I could sneak it in the next one or not.
Yeah, I'm taking Ahsoka because
Are we allowed to pick future Star Wars projects that haven't came out yet?
I don't think that's fair.
Heir to the Empire.
Yeah, I don't think that's fair. Because, I mean, you can't even defend that.
Yeah.
You can defend, we know, we have an idea of where Ahsoka's going.
Right.
But
I gotcha.
even if not that, I still take it at its face value, which is an extension of my first pick, which is the Clone Wars, which you have Rebels, though. So
Yeah.
all of that gets erased, but I can still continue Ahsoka's story from out. So that's why I took that, and then we get some stuff.
Yeah.
But I took Phantom Menace because I wanted that origin story still intact with Darth Maul to be able to go into Clone Wars, and then Qui-Gon to go into Clone Wars.
Here's where we're gonna start probably differing with what we're picking, which I mean I guess is fine for each other because like we're just not picking.
looking at them on
I am.
Plus.
Damn.
So you get
I get the
back-to-back
last two.
picks, and then I get the last pick.
So like if I say a question, I guess if I say Tales of
You get the full thing.
all of them,
Yes. But you all,
and the potential of all the shows, like you with Ahsoka.
yes, but you can't use that in defense because we really don't know if those are coming out. We know Ahsoka's coming out,
That's true.
so I can kind of use it as like
But say hypothetically they are coming out with more. Does that like also count with my?
Yeah, you can use it, but the weight is smaller.
It's like a half a point versus
yeah,
a
because
full point.
because you gotta remember with Tales of, we did get a shitty one in the middle.
Yeah.
Empire sucked, which is insane. But anyway. That's why at Tales of I just kept putting things above it. I was like, all right.
Clone Wars movie. I'm just kidding.
I mean,
Pretty sure that's just lumped in with yours. I feel like that should just count.
probably, but I mean, if you want to take it, you
No.
can.
Okay.
I think no matter what you pick, I get free range of the last picks to just add to my story. So I kind of don't care what you pick. You kind of have free range.
I think I'm gonna pick Tales of just
Okay.
because I think I have to. One, like the animation's beautiful. Two, we do have a really good story within there. Super important story with like Ahsoka's stuff going on and stuff like that. Like, okay, we got a lot good in there. And I think with my last pick, I think I'm gonna go The Mandalorian, like all of that.
Really?
I think I'm going to.
I mean, that includes. I'm giving you the movie.
Right. And possibly season 4 or 5,
Yeah.
maybe who fucking knows what's going on with
That goes into it for sure.
But I think The Mandalorian, it's been really good. There's a couple episodes that are like, what the hell? But I think the overall like show, this is just great. Like, we have a great show that's about non-Force users. This now you have Ahsoka within there. You got the Darksaber stuff going on. You got the Mandalorian Creed. You have the movie that's going to happen. We have, yeah, like everything that's happening in crossovers and everything. I think I like my draft so far. So what do you have? One more or two?
I have one. You're
one?
done, aren't you?
Yep.
And what's your 5 again? You have Revenge of the Sith.
Rebels, Return of the Jedi, Tales of series and The Mandalorian.
And see, this is where I'm in a predicament because I have Clone Wars, I have Empire, both great picks. Into Phantom Menace for that origin, and then I have Ahsoka to kind of back end it.
Yeah.
So now I'm in this predicament of like, do I take? Because there's the other half of like it's the only thing I can watch too. Do I take something that I really enjoy watching? Do I take what's the best? Do I take?
Right.
Do I take something that adds to my story?
Because
Because
you have like a
because
2 that you're thinking.
I'm kind of just stuck. I have like 5 listed that are like possibilities. Because like here's the thing, I could take like Attack of the Clones and keep building my Clone Wars arc story.
Yeah. You would get first movie, second movie, Clone Wars, and even in the end part of the Clone Wars, you kind of get the idea of almost Revenge of the Sith stuff happening. So it's like you got Order 66 and all that stuff happening. So that wouldn't be bad to have like a straight storyline.
That
Or
I
you could go down like the Andor route.
I could
with
have
great TV, and then it like fits with like the Empire stuff. I know you don't have A New Hope. You could pick A New Hope just to be like, this is OG Star Wars, and I'm picking. It
I know
because it's
that's where it's so like I don't know where to go.
Yeah.
Because literally I have Andor, Rogue One, A New Hope, and Attack of the Clones written down. Rogue One I think's getting booted.
My earliest stuff I have is Tales of, because they go all the way to like Ahsoka being a child, so that's got to be like early, and then I get all the way in the back end of The Mandalorian, so that's actually pretty far back too. I kind of have like Tales of, which fits a lot of like Clone Warsy beginning of that, and then also like after Order 66. I got Rebels, which is obviously after Order 66. I have Revenge of the Sith, that's before that. I got Return of the Jedi, which kind of wraps
I'm so pissed. I didn't think you would fucking take that. I was so pissed. I thought you were gonna take Ahsoka,
and then
it would have fallen.
You know
to
what?
Return.
I actually feel like I got a good balance. They're kind of like his huge time gaps, but it like fills in random spots in there.
I'm so pissed you
That
took
is
Return,
actually-
because if I would have had Return,
Yeah.
because I thought you were gonna take Ahsoka, which would have been my double, would have been Phantom and Return, and I would have had such a good just in a row type of balance, and I'm like, fuck.
I kind of have it to where it's like separated like decently far from each other, but it's well rounded. I feel like you got important highlighted stuff within all of it, and then you have like Tales
that's
of
the thing. I'm
Tales of for filler, like within the time. Like, oh, I think I did really good in this draft. Actually, I'm really satisfied with this draft, and I have some good TV. I
don't know where to go because
So what do you have so far? Let's go over that.
I have Clone Wars,
Okay.
Empire.
Okay.
So I have that.
2 very different time periods.
Yeah, but I have that big chunk of the Clone Wars, and then I have like I would say a pivotal point where he finds out he's his father, and they have that fight.
You have a Phantom Menace, a Star.
Phantom Menace, which is like a great introduction, and then I have Ahsoka, which gives me back end.
Okay.
So now
So you
I
can
kind
either-
of can just pick what I want
Yeah. Yeah.
because the Clone Wars bleeds in and back.
If I were you, this is probably a hot take, because anybody's not just like, you guys haven't picked Andor or Rogue One. I kind of think you should lean more towards Attack of the Clones.
Because I think it gives me more depth of the story.
It gives you a huge like depth in the beginning, and then you see the fall at the end with the Clone Wars, and then it takes you to the I am your father moment with the 5th movie, and then you round out with like Ahsoka and everything that's rounding out at the end of that. I personally think you go with Attack of the Clones, and that rounds out yours. Like, so like I have huge time gaps. You kind of have like a huge like, here's a lot of the story, and then we round it out here.
I do and I don't, because
I
having
think your best
having
two
Empire
picks.
and then having Ahsoka is like that good back end.
I think your best 2 picks are either Attack of the Clones, which you could say an argument, you have a lot of the Clone Wars that fills in a lot of that, or you pick, honestly, A New Hope. I think those are your best 2 final picks. Like, genuinely.
I really want to Return, you piece of shit.
I know.
Fucking piece of shit. Ah, god damn it.
I think, honestly, with the argument of having the Clone Wars, you could not have Attack of the Clones, and that story is still fine. I think you honestly head more towards the original trilogy, kind of stuff. So I think
because I kind of wish
think
there
A
was.
New
This
Hope-
is why I want to Return of the Jedi, because I feel like I needed a little bit of gap between Empire and Ahsoka,
okay, so
and I don't know the gap to go.
I think Attack of the Clones is out. Just talking about the Clone Wars and stuff. I think your two options you have now is either A New Hope, or honestly, you could pick Andor or Rogue One. Personally, I would pick Rogue One. That's what I would pick, because you have a lot of like filler in in Andor that you kind of don't need with your story. I think you get Rogue One, the start of the Rebel Alliance, Darth Vader fucking people up to get to the I am your father moment. Like, this guy's lost. You know what I mean? Like, this guy's just evil. I think Rogue One or A New Hope are your picks. I think that's what they should be. It's just which story do you want to have?
I feel like Rogue
more?
One has so much just bullshit in it, though. So I think A New Hope's the pick. I'm gonna do A New Hope. There's a lot of the story in Rogue One that I wouldn't need.
Right.
So I think A New Hope's like a good, and I get the Ben Kenobi, I get the Tatooine. I think it's a good pick.
Yeah.
I don't know who won this.
It's not really a winner or a loser. It's kind of like
the winner and loser is.
I think we
me
were.
and you.
I think we were balanced like in different ways. You know what I mean? I'm really happy with how my draft turned out.
And that's the thing. Because honestly, I didn't think you were gonna take Revenge. I thought you were gonna take Clone Wars. So immediately I had to pivot because I knew my second pick.
Dude, listen. It was hard. I
Because-
didn't want the first pick because I'm like, all right, if I don't pick the first one, I know where I'm going from here. But since I picked first, I didn't know what you were going to say.
I think.
And then also me not picking Ahsoka. I honestly didn't even have Ahsoka there. I didn't even really like.
I think if you would have picked Ahsoka, you would have had better Star Wars lore. But I think I would have had the better overarch, if that makes sense. But now we kind of went like this, and we legit snaked through it instead of it being like under and over.
Yeah.
Damn.
I feel like I'm happier with my list than you are. So with that being said,
it's not that, because like the thing with Ahsoka is I have so much extra.
there's potential, but
Also, just on top of that, I get to reconnect the Clone Wars into Ahsoka.
yeah.
And if the rumors are true, that could include Obi-Wan in it.
Yeah.
I have Thrawn. Which, that's the thing that sucks. I thought when you picked Rebels that you would just pick Ahsoka to connect those. Yikes.
We talked about Rebels, though. With the way Rebels ended, it was like, sure, it was like a gut punch, but it was kind of a satisfying ending. Like, you just were like, all right, like, they're a part of the Rebel Alliance that's going to take on the Empire now. That was kind of how Rebels ended. So it was like, okay, we were satisfied with the end. So I was okay with picking Rebels and leaving it like that.
Yeah, honestly, going into it, my thought was get all three of the old movies and the Clone Wars, and then you would have room to play. And I probably would have taken the Phantom Menace to have better front end, and that would have I would have just had that block. And I was going to let you take Revenge and then everything on the backside.
Dude, like I said, I think I did really good in this draft. I have like all the time gaps from Tails.
What was yours again? Go ahead. Go again.
Revenge.
Tails is...
Do you want me to say them in like timeline order?
It don't matter.
Okay, timeline order. You have Tales of, which goes through a
Yeah,
bunch of time.
it's jumpy.
But I do have really like early on stuff. Like you picked
That's the thing with
Phantom
Tails,
Menace.
though. I never even... I looked at Tails and went, nope, just because there's a whole block that I don't give a fuck about.
Right, but it's a lot of good filler from what I don't have. For me. For
just two characters, though.
Still, though, it gives you an idea.
But you gotta remember, you have no Clone Wars.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars don't exist, so General Grievous is kind of... Which you have Revenge of the Sith, which really helps with that.
I think Tales of was a good pick with what I have. So I have Tales of, which fills in a bunch of gaps, like characters, like Thrawn coming into Rebels, General Grievous coming into Revenge of the Sith, and then I have Revenge of the Sith. I have Rebels, and then I have Return of the Jedi, which rounds out the whole story, obviously. And then you have Mando's timeline that takes place after that, like continues.
Return
it.
of your Jedi is like your weird one.
It is the weird one
because
but,
you kind of just you're there.
But we get an idea of Tales of, you have Anakin and Anakin training Ahsoka, and then you have like the fall with Order 66 and stuff like that, post stuff there. Then you have the Rebel Alliance that starts out, and then you have Return of the Jedi, where that all rounded out the story, where you finish.
That's what I'm saying. Your only jump is from the third movie jumping to the sixth. Which
But
you still have context.
But I have context in there because
have
I have
Rebels,
Rebels,
I guess.
and Tales of that has in the middle of both.
The only
of
thing
those.
with that is the Luke connection is what you're missing.
the Luke.
Yeah, the
Well,
Luke
Luke's
connection.
born.
That's what I'm saying, but that's the only thing you have. You have Luke here and then Luke here.
Yeah, that's true. We have Luke as a child, and then he's an
adult.
a man that
But
kills Vader.
yeah, that's why I want to Return of the Jedi so bad. But that's the thing, like even with that, like I go Clone Wars into A New Hope, which we kind of don't get that Obi-Wan jump necessarily. That's what I'm missing is the Obi-Wan part.
Yeah.
But then I have A New Hope and Empire. So you kind of have the idea of like the Clone Wars Obi-Wan gets to here, but you do miss the Revenge of the Sith part.
Yeah.
So
What's a bigger miss? Revenge of the Sith and how everything falls to become the Empire,
or
Luke's jump.
Luke's
Luke's
well, see,
jump.
I still get some of the fall in the Clone Wars.
That's true.
I get Maul's whole thing. So
I'm happy with my draft. Though.
I'm still happy with mine.
Yeah.
I just didn't think you were gonna go that. When you said Return of the Jedi, I was kind of like, what the fuck?
Well, like you said, I picked Revenge of the Sith. You were like, "What the hell?"
Well,
And
no,
then
I kind of knew it was Clone Wars Revenge of the Sith, and that was
Still,
gonna that one kind of just was like a fill-in.
Still, though, I like changed the shape of how you wanted to draft. It sounds like, and then once I picked Return of the Jedi, I really fucked up the way you were.
Well, no, I
drafting.
kind of that's the thing. With the first pick, I thought you were gonna take the Clone Wars,
Yeah.
but I wanted you to take Revenge of the Sith, kind of, because I wanted Clone Wars.
until I picked Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi is what I was like. You fucking bitch.
I don't know. I'm happy. This is fun.
Yeah.
I think we got two very different sides of Star Wars going through that.
Yeah, dude. Just imagine the conversations. Yo, you remember this? No, what are you talking about?
All right. Well,
Yeah, my story, Luke just dies. He falls through Cloud City, and they catch him, or they get him, and he's just dead.
yeah. Well, you guys tell us who you think won the first draft with the non-Force users. Tell us what you guys think with those kind of fights,
And then tell us whose story is better. And if you want to makeshift these stories together to pull things to make a new story, go ahead in the comments.
yeah.
I'd love to read them. So
All right. You got anything else?
I don't think.
All right. This has been Mind Trick Media. Thanks, guys.